What is up, everybody? Hope you guys didn't see that little failure that I just had of trying to get the camera to rotate, or it was hilarious. I don't know. Probably had a bunch of typos because I'll be honest, setting this live stream up on your phone is kind of a disaster, and there's nothing I can do about it now. So it is what it is, as they say, and we're just gonna move on through it. Hope you guys are all doing awesome today. It's been a long time since I've jumped on YouTube Live, so thought, what a better opportunity than right now when the world is seemingly falling apart around us. And we'll talk a little bit about that, of course, today and whatnot. But before we do that, thanks for hanging out. Hope you guys aren't being too disrupted at work. I've found over the last week or so, actually getting work done has been very challenging. I've been very distracted and trying to balance between not paying attention to everything everybody's saying and trying to stay reasonably informed with reliable sources, which I think we can all agree has been pretty tough. So today I'm out here in the garage trying to distract myself from all that nonsense that's going on and actually get some work done. And I am still going to Wookiees as well. I don't know what the event's going to look like. I think Paul and I talked about just canceling our cruise that we had planned and refunding the money that everybody paid for that. We're kind of up in the air. I think we're going to wait till next week to make that final determination because we want it to still be a special event. We want all that to be still a really good time, but I think there's going to be a pretty low attendance. And, I'm not trying to start any fear or anything like that, but there's been a lot of talk of closing state borders, which is terrifying. So, if that happens, I'm lucky. I live in North Carolina, so I'm not going to be restricted, but you never know. Will an intake void my warranty on your Golf R? It probably will not. You will probably be just fine. You can watch the video I did on tuning the R, this filthy, dirty car that's right behind me here. That'll give you a little bit of insight on what really spurs the TD1 flag. So how are dealership service departments right now? Scott, that's a great question. I've been chatting with Rusty about what's going on and what the measures they're taking, and it's slow. And they're doing the best they can with what they have, which is challenging. Luckily, Romania, right on. That's so cool. Also, look at my thumb is dirty. How did that happen? I think what I did is I went like this and wiped a dirt spot off on the R. I think that's exactly what happened. How reliable is a stock Mark IV R32? I'll get right back to that. Let me finish Scott's question. So Scott, I think they're really slow. I think people are just staying home, which is awesome. And, I don't try not to get political here. Don't love the government intervention most of the time, but there are times where it does kind of make sense for that to happen. People are staying home. That said, I did go to the grocery store today and it was packed. And nobody was doing any different than they normally do. And I remembered that I hate being at the grocery store. So I got 3 things and left. That is definitely Mama's department in our house anyway. She is the deal hunter, and I am happy to let her do her thing in that space. So I got 3 things at Harris Teeter and then rolled out. Nothing to do with virus or anything. I just hate being at grocery stores. So Mark IV R32s stock can be very, very reliable. They are a good car. What I get concerned about more now with those cars being 16 years old, 15, 16, up to 17 years old, depending on when they were sold, is that poor maintenance, poor possibility of repairs that haven't been done properly over the years. That's much more my bigger concern, and that's a much better question to ask yourself or your mechanic or your technician or the person you're buying it from, rather than is that car reliable? Because yes, the answer is yes, it is a reliable car. Overall, is this specific car going to be problematic, and what can we do to overcome those objectives of problems? So my car, even though it was stock, it had a lot of maintenance that it needed because it wasn't really well loved over its lifetime. There's others that are really well loved and are really well taken care of, and those you pay a fortune for. I came this close to bidding on a Reflex Silver R32 yesterday. That was when I saw the auction had about a day left, and up till about 4 hours, it it was at like $9,000, which is, I really didn't want to spend that much money, so I knew I was going to get outbid, which is the only reason I bid on it, which is probably stupid, but whatever. That car went for $15,000, which I don't think that car was probably worth $15,000 or $16,000. I think it actually went for. I don't think that car's worth $16,000. I love the R32. I just don't think majority of them are worth that much money. I mean, keep in mind, this car was only 32 when it was new in 2004, and I don't think that car should really bring $16,000 unless they're in really, really excellent shape. We will all be in our cars at all the public events canceled. The comments go away. There it is. Yeah, it's going to be weird. Wookiees is going to be weird this year, unfortunately, but we'll see. I again, unless like things go mad sideways or they start really locking things down or Fontana closes, I'm going to be there. And I think a lot of the other Wookiees attendees are going to be there as well. So it'll still be a good time. At this point, I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to have both cars there or not. You know, before all this nonsense started, I'd committed. I was going to bring the R32, the blue car. What's up, Matthew? And the yellow car. One of the guys from the dealership was going to drive one of the two, and we were just going to kind of trade off and drive both. If things are still wonky like they are now, then I will probably just drive the yellow car, and that purely comes from it's more comfortable to drive, and it's 6 hours for me to get to Fontana. Site commenting up for, yeah, so Justin, the sunroofs are better, but it's still the same design. It's still the same setup. I think they're less problematic on the newer cars, but that just may be because the newer cars are newer. We had a water leak guy that he did a lot of our water leaks, and he said that was the worst sunroof design he'd ever seen. So, and I don't disagree with him at all. A ton of leaks, ton of campaigns, bunch of janky fixes with tape and putty and nonsense like that. Keep in mind the way that sunroof is built on, so this car with a sunroof, not the all-track or the wagon, the actual four-door Golf family car. Piece of plastic, piece of metal, piece of plastic glued together. Well, it's structural because it's glued to the roof. So as the car flexes, the roof flexes. Well, the plastic and the metal, not only do they expand and contract at different rates, they flex at different rates, and that causes the plastic to crack. So what'll happen is you get a crack in the plastic here, like call it the right front corner, and you'll end up with a water leak over here on this side because the water is going to travel through and leak. So I don't like that sunroof setup. I'm thankful the R doesn't have a sunroof. I know that was a big thing. A lot of people were disappointed that the Golf R didn't have a sunroof. Trust me when I tell you it is better that the car doesn't have a sunroof. Sunroofs are a hassle, and I like them. I enjoy them. I think the panoramic roofs are really, really cool, but the R doesn't have one and the Touareg doesn't have one, and I'm absolutely fine with that. Very, very satisfied that I don't. That's one less issue I have to worry about on the Touareg and the Golf. What is an N82 valve? I would have to look it up. It sounds like a transmission valve, but I'm not 100% sure. Some of that stuff, guys, I just don't remember. You know, an N80 valve, an N75 valve, those are such commonplace valves to have failures, so I remember those. But some of those obscure ones, I never bothered to commit them to memory because it was always a quick search away to figure out what the valve was and what it did and how it worked. And odds are I had an issue, so I was doing deeper research than that. Michelin Pilot Sports, yes, fantastic tire. That's a fantastic tire all around. I'm going to be running the RE71Rs again. Those tires right over there on the Miata. So I'll be running those this season, if we even have a season, which they haven't canceled April 12th's event yet. But I don't know. They canceled the one like a week before, so I'm kind of expecting that to happen, which I'm going to be super bummed about if it does follow. What maintenance schedule do you follow now that you're stage 2? So stage 2, I'm basically cutting all the service intervals in half. That may be overkill, but I was going to do 5,000 mile oil changes anyway, so nothing changing there. I need to do the updated spark plugs. I haven't done the performance ones because they're like $40-something a piece, and I'm cheap and I don't want to buy them. You know, that's what, $160 worth of spark plugs just for spark plugs. Especially when I spent $4 a piece on spark plugs for the Miata, so I'm not there. Do the 7.5 fit on the 7R? I don't know that for sure. I think they do. These are actually, well, you can barely see it. Right, where's it at? Right over there. Those are GTI mud flaps, and they fit pretty well. And let me pop this off here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. They fit pretty well. I have paint protection film. God, look how dirty this car is. Woof. It's pollen season, so I'm not like in a super hurry to wash it. But you can see there's some spots that it might actually rub the paint, so I would put something underneath it if I was going to run those, which is exactly what I did. And since I'm up and now mobile, I want to take you guys outside and show you some of the work that they did yesterday on the new shop space. So this is where we've been working for the past, well, since I've been doing videos, really. Rear shocks on a Mark V. I like Bilsteins. They've been really good to me. All right. Hold on. I got to make sure I don't expose the project. There's the Miata and all of its two-tone glory. The DSG, the reason I picked the DSG is two reasons. One, I like the DSG. I think it's a blast to drive, and my wife can drive it. So, and she's kind of got the itch now for the car. So here's what's going to happen. Let me not show that. Oh, there we go. I showed it accidentally. So you'll drive in, you'll drive down. This is a little bit steep, not too bad. And check out what they did yesterday. It rained last night, so we got a couple of wet spots, no big deal. But they poured this whole big floor yesterday in just a matter of a few hours. It's probably cured enough to walk on, but I don't think I'm gonna walk on it just yet. So here's our floor drain. It's like this T-piece. These were actually really cool. They were about $50 a piece, and I have 5 sections. 1, 2, a T-piece, 3, 4, and then this piece right here. So what we'll be able to do, I'll be able to pull a car in right here, wash it, and then the drain will come out right here. We haven't finished any of this stuff yet, but we'll finish that over time, of course. And the floor is graded accordingly to where the drains are, and then there's a little bit of pitch from the back to the front to, just so if there's any water, it'll roll this way. This is pitched towards the drain, even though it's from the door. So what we'll probably do is put a little lip here so that no water comes up. I mean, if I got water coming up into here, I got way bigger problems than just a bit of water with the rest of the place. So this is cool. 2 spots I'm looking at for the lift. I'm looking at kind of right back here, right past this expansion joint. And then that's one space. So you'd actually just kind of zoom right in. The car would get parked right about there. And then the other space I'm looking at is actually, it's going to make entry a little bit more challenging because I'll have to probably come in the garage, back up, and drive in, but it'll end up parking the car right about there. So the feet of the lift would be like here and there on the splitting of the expansion joints. And you'd pull, essentially, the nose of the car would be like right about where that puddle is. There's a woodpecker out here somewhere. Cool. There's a woodpecker back there somewhere. So those are the 2 choices I'm thinking of. I'm kind of leaning more towards having it at an angle over here. That way all this rest of the space is open for flat stall and equipment and everything like that, but haven't made that decision yet. Luckily, we'll have about 13 feet of ceiling height, and we did 6 inches of 5,000 PSI concrete, so should have no issues putting the lift in anywhere on this floor. And there's some spaces, like this back corner is quite a bit deeper of concrete than that. They took today off. A guy just came and did some inspections. Hopefully it passed. I don't know. I guess I have to go look. Now this space here, there's the dog chilling. This space here, this is the crawl space. So what this is going to be right above where I am is going to be the office. Let me back out of here where you guys can see this a little better. So office, closet, hallway, that window is going to get removed, and that'll actually be a hallway. And then this will be the office. bathroom. There'll be a staircase down into the new shop. I'm still kicking around what I want to do over here, like along the wall. I'm thinking like cabinets in the corners, have some equipment along the side. Of course, we'll have some room for like a fridge and stuff over there. There'll be a water faucet on that side. I don't think I'm going to do a sink in here just yet. We're still on the fence on that one. So yeah, they did all this in like 4 hours yesterday. It's crazy. They had a big crane that came over and poured the concrete. It was pretty neat. I got some cool footage of them working, so I'll probably throw that in a video for you guys, or just like a time lapse or something on Facebook. But how cool is that? This is a little people door. Hot yoga room. Yeah, we could do that. Hot yoga underneath the thing. Look at this Miata. Miatas are so derpy. Look at that. Look at its little smile. I don't know why I'm even being shy about the next project car. You'll see it in a video coming up soon. All right, so that's what's going on outside. Let me plug this phone back in before it dies because, you know, reasons. We don't want it to die. What I'm working on today is going to be video on the R. We will do how to delete start stop. That's a video I'm going to be working on today here in a few minutes when I'm done filming this for you guys. Someone asked about air compressor in the crawl space. Great suggestion, one I have made as well. In fact, I just got an email from a compressor company asking them that question. They said they're worried about moisture and humidity and things like that. So a few options that we have, the few options that we have are going to be, I don't know if you saw the shed out back, putting the compressor in the shed. That'll isolate it completely from everything over here. It'll be able to run while I'm working and while I'm filming, and I won't have to listen to it. A good option. The only bad thing about that is to run the lines, I'm going to have to bury it, which puts the lowest point of the line underneath where the compressor is basically buried. I actually talked to Eric yesterday about Challenger lifts. I had a great conversation with Mohawk lifts as well, so we're kind of up in the air on that one. So compressor out in the shed puts the lowest point very low, basically buried. Can be problematic with water. I would do an OBD11 tweak video. The problem is the OBD11 for iOS is so crappy that half the stuff doesn't even work. So I love the idea and I would love to do it, but until the full version of iOS is out, I'm probably not going to do it. I guess I could go get an Android tablet or something like that and do it that way. I just haven't. What's the best supercharger and what's the cheapest? Well, the best and the cheapest are not the same part. I can tell you that. I did a very little bit of research on 12-valve superchargers before we turboed the Mark III, and came away with basically dollar per horsepower. Everything was going to cost quite a bit more, and everything I could find was not super reliable as far as longevity or performance. So I scrapped that and went turbo on the Mark III. Where'd that comment go? What about ups and through the ceiling to keep it high? That's another option too. I think the problem with ceiling is it's still going to be loud inside the garage. So shed, shed is one option. It's pollen season, so I'm like all full of allergies. Shed option is one. Another option is actually just right here in this current garage, punch a hole through the wall and run the lines through the wall. And that right now is probably my favorite option because it keeps it away from everybody and it makes, yeah, trust me, it's allergies. It keeps it away from everybody, but it's here, it's easily serviceable. There's not going to be very often where someone's in this space and in that space working. So, you know, I think this in here, right over here is going to be the best place, and it's not going to eat up. It's not going to eat up square footage out there in the shop and noise. No, I know the screw ones are really quiet, but remember, quiet compared to how a shop runs, and quiet compared to filming are two very different things. So I have to keep all that in mind. I don't want the compressor kicking on mid video and have to redo it. So toolbox for just starting out. That is an awesome question, and I'm going to get a sip of water here. I love that question. So Honestly, I think, I say honestly, like I would tell you anything otherwise. If I were just starting out today, here's the way I like to put this answer. If I were starting out today, knowing what I know now, as a new technician, instead of like a seasoned technician, what would I buy? This is what I would do. I'd do one of like 2, maybe 3 different things. I would try and find a used box, okay, on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or something like that. That's kind of like the lowest option. The next 2 are about the same. Or 3 really. I would go to Home Depot, I would go to Harbor Freight, and I would either buy a Husky box or a Milwaukee box or a US General box, and that's what I would do. I would get a decent roll cart. If you get one of the US General Harbor Freight roll carts, I would put casters that swivel on all four, because the ones that just swivel on one side I think are stupid, and I wish they would just charge $10, $15 more and get rid of that crap, because I hate that. The cart should be able to rotate and move all around. It's what I like about the cart that I have now. Yeah, that's what I would do. Milwaukee and Husky would be like they come out of the same factory, so it's basically the same box. Different boxes, same basic box. That's what I would do. You know, if you got $600, you can get a pretty damn nice Harbor Freight or Milwaukee or Husky box for $600. It's going to be plenty of storage for you just starting out, and that's a box that if you outgrow it, say, or you want to get the big fancy Snap-on box, right? I had one. I get it. I totally get it. They're great to work out of. You take that box and you bring it home, and then you have a really nice toolbox at your house for your projects at home or whatever. Or you sell it and recoup most of your money, whatever you got to do. But I really, really, really hate seeing new technicians go on the tool truck and buy a $5,000 toolbox that they don't need. You need tools, not a toolbox. Okay, you need a toolbox. You need somewhere to put your tools. But what's far more important than having a name brand cool guy toolbox is having a place to put your stuff and having the stuff to fix cars. Okay, if you spend $1,000 on the Snap-on truck, and I pick on Snap-on, that's just because like most of my tool truck brand tools are Snap-on, and I really like their tools. I really think they make great stuff. If you buy $1,000 worth of Snap-on tools, and you buy $1,000 worth of Pittsburgh or Husky or Milwaukee, whatever other retailer brand tools, you're gonna get like 4 times more tools for that $1,000. And as a new technician, that's what you need. You don't know what you need beyond, I need quantity. We can worry about quality later. You don't need the best ratchet. You're not gonna be the fastest technician anyway. You better not be, because you're probably taking shortcuts you shouldn't be taking. If you are, spend your money very smart early in your career, because that is the point in time you're probably gonna be making the least amount of money, 15, 16, 18 bucks an hour. You better not be on the truck getting a $4,000 account bill, right? Or $25 a week for 3 years, whatever the hell it is. Finding an old mechanic that's retiring, another really great thing. That's a lot more challenging than just going to Home Depot saying, I want that red Milwaukee box. And I have a Milwaukee toolbox. I really like it. If it weren't for the soft closed drawers, which I know is like a personal thing for me, I don't really like, I would love the toolbox. It's in my office right now. Honestly, if you want a really great desk to work on, a couple of toolboxes with a board across is way cheaper and way better storage than buying a stupid toolbox, a stupid desk at, I don't know, whatever the desk place is, Staples or Office Depot Max, whatever they're called. Husky and Milwaukee would be the 2 that I would probably say if you need a box like tomorrow, right? Your first day's tomorrow and you need a box tomorrow, go get one of those. It's going to be fine. It's going to be really, really good for longer than you think it would be. When I first started, I bought a Craftsman toolbox. I think it was like $700. It was a top box and a bottom box, 40 inches wide. And the only reason I don't still have that box today is I actually traded it for a Matco box with a hutch. Otherwise, I'd still have it. It would still be in this garage right now. It wasn't the greatest box. It wasn't the most awesomest cool guy box. It didn't say Snap-on. It wasn't camouflage or fancy drawer pull colors and custom this and stage 5 that. It was none of that. But you know what it did? It locked every single time, and it unlocked every single time. And every time I opened the drawer and grabbed a tool and sometimes put it back, it did just fine. That is my advice on toolboxes. What do you think about Power Tools DeWalt versus Milwaukee? I think they're both really, really good. Personally, I like Milwaukee tools better. I think, head to head, they're going to be so comparable that talking one's better than the other, it's all personal preference. I think that if you start on one platform, keep on that platform. I like Milwaukee better. There are two more reasons I like Milwaukee better. One, they don't have 8,700 different battery things to deal with. Power volt flex this and that, 60 volt, 90 volt, 10 volt. They have two batteries, M12 and M18. That's it. It's either the big boy or the little boy. And, there's different sizes in those, which is cool, but it either runs on one platform or the other. I love that. Two, I think out of all the retail brands, Ryobi, DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita, what's the other one? There's like two or three more. I think Milwaukee is one of the only ones that actually gives a damn about the automotive industry and pays any attention to it. Because all the rest of them, right? All the rest of them are for construction trades, I should say. Plumber, builders, that kind of stuff. Hitachi's another one. And Milwaukee's the only one that seems to do anything for automotive. And I really, really love that. And I really, really appreciate that. They've been really good to me over the years. And I'm looking around like Milwaukee tool, Milwaukee tool, Milwaukee tool. Excuse me. So that's what I think. What brand do you think is the best value tool brand? I think Husky's really good. I think Gear Wrench, so I don't put Gear Wrench in the value category because I put them like one step up, kind of in that mid. I think they're one of the best bang for the bucks. I really think Gear Wrench they make great stuff. The Icon stuff from Harbor Freight is pretty good. I think it puts kind of more in that mid price point range. I don't think there's a huge difference. I think the new Craftsman stuff is fine. I know there's a lot of heartburn. It's still coming out of China, blah, blah, blah. If you guys really understood the tools and the way they work and who builds tools for who, and there's really only like 3 places that build tools, a lot of that might change. And I know there's videos out there talking about who makes what tools for what company. I didn't like Cobalt tools, but that was mostly because the switch on the ratchet I felt was backwards, and it should go, to tighten, the switch should go to the left as you're looking at the back of the wrench, and right for loosening. Tighten, loosen. I feel like the switch should go that way. That way, if you can't see, you need to like find the switch with your thumb. You know which way it goes, and you might only have a little bit of movement. You sure don't want to tighten that bolt while you're way up here with your, like doing this number right here. Husky's fine. I have plenty of Husky tools around here. Milwaukee's fine. Pittsburgh's okay. Not great, but okay. All of those are perfectly fine starting out tool brands as a new technician. And for the average home user, they're really great too, right? You don't have to wait for the Snap-on truck to come to switch your ratchet out when you bust it. You just drive over to the Home Depot. I mean, there's one like 10 minutes from me. It's not as close for everybody, but you just drive and get a new one. Or if it's Craftsman, it's Ace or whatever. Do you think you'd be making a video of your toolbox and tools and some of your favorite and best starting out kits? That's a really good idea. The tool world is one that I did a lot of tool review type stuff a long time ago, and I kind of got burnt out on it because no matter what I said, $500, dude. I hope you didn't typo that because thank you, geez. Thank you, Fabian. If you typoed that, let me know. Because wow, thank you. I don't know what to say other than thank you very much. Where can you purchase a workshop manual? Erwin, ERWIN, Audi is how to get that bad boy. That's the best way to do it. So back to the tools though. I did a lot of tools and I felt like no matter what I did or what I said, I was wrong, right? I came across a comment of someone saying I was hawking a tool brand And like, yeah, like, so hawking the tool, like trying to convince people that this was the greatest thing ever and that every toolbox should have one. And I almost never say that. And the thing they were talking about, like basically calling me a sellout for this tool, was VIM mini, I think it was like the mini triple squares that I've been using for long before I ever even created this brand, right? It was, I spent my money on it. I used it for like 5 or 6 years before I even created this brand. So that kind of pissed me off, and I called it quits on tools for a little while. So, you know, tools are that space where everybody has their own opinion, and the way I use something is going to be different for you guys. And I don't like getting accused of selling out when all I'm trying to do is say, hey, I'm going to pretend I didn't read that comment. When all I'm trying to do is say, hey, this is something that's worked really well for me. Here's the applications that I've used it. If it doesn't work for you, cool. Like, just like the DeWalt and Milwaukee conversation. If you like Milwaukee tools and you think they're better than DeWalt or any other brand, cool. That's awesome. I think that's great. Buy that. I think you should buy that. I'm not trying to convince anybody that anything's better than anything else. It's just, here's the application that I use this for. Now, I do think there's a handful of tools that do belong in your toolbox, like that VIM triple square set. It's under 40 bucks. It's got all the sizes you need. They're fantastic. They're lifetime warranty. I just get another set when I break one because then I have extra. But that, to me, belongs in your toolbox. Why wouldn't it? So, yeah, my other issue with tool reviews and stuff, the fact that they get tools for free actually doesn't bother me at all, because that gives those reviewers an opportunity to talk about a tool they probably wouldn't talk about otherwise. However, where was I going? I was going somewhere with that. Oh, this is what it is. Unbox the tool, use it for 4 seconds and think it's great, or destroy the tool in a manner that no one's ever going to use it and think, oh, I did this really great review on it. No, you threw it from a 2-story building and ran over with your car. Like, okay, it held up, cool, but how does it hold up after 2 years of using it every day? So I think most of the, and this is not picking on any tool reviewer at all, it's really not. Like, there's a lot of them doing a good job, and they're going through features and benefits and teching out these tools that they do a good job, and it's good information. I just don't understand how you can do anything other than a glorified unboxing video if you've had the tool for 15 minutes. Or you just destroy it, and like, that doesn't really solve anything. Maybe you got one that's the best one ever made, or you got the one that's the worst one ever made. But like, how does it work for you for 2 years? What about comfort? What about the trigger position? Can you reach the little switcher back and forth with your thumb? I don't know. This is why for things that are of any high price, you got to put your hand on the tool. There's a joke in there somewhere. You got to put your hand on the tool, whether that's going to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Oh, man. Dude, I wish I wouldn't have read that comment about Wookiees. I'll have to talk to Abe here in a few minutes. That's going to bum me out the rest of the day. So, well, there we go. Wookiees is canceled. I mean, obviously, it's still a public road, public event. As far as community college tech program goes, do you need the AAS degree? I would say you probably don't need either one. Obviously, those look really good on a resume. Obviously, that... now I'm heartbroken and distracted about Fontana. I care less about that stuff than I do about the actual person. And the reason is, you know, I've spoke with a lot of guys. Faye, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. I was able to make it on Faye's live feed the other day, so I'm happy that she made it. If you guys don't subscribe to Faye, where did her comment go? Miss Faye Hadley right here. You really should. As soon as I'm done, go over to her channel and hit that little subscribe button and hit that little bell, because she's super rad and a really good friend of mine. And you guys probably all know her from being like a super rock star TV star. So very, very, very cool. But her YouTube channel is great. And I texted her the other day. I was like, dude, your last like 10 videos are killer. So go, as soon as we're done, swing over to her channel and make sure you guys subscribe to her, because she's super rad. and happy and proud to call her a friend. And Faye, correct me if I'm wrong, she has a ABA swapped Mark 1, I think, Golf, or if it's a Rabbit, I'm not sure. I don't remember of like where they went from Rabbit to Golf to Rabbit to Golf to Rabbit to Golf, or whatever they're going to call it next. So that's really rad, and I think maybe Faye and I should collab on a video on that Mark 1 and do something fun to it. Who knows? Maybe one day I will finally be able to sweet talk her into that, but we'll see. So do you think with your experience you could overhaul aircraft? I think I would be too scared to do an aircraft engine, because like if you leave a bolt out on this, like it gets towed back to the shop. It's not a big deal. You know, odds are nobody got hurt. If you leave something loose on an airplane, like that's a problem. However, I was at tech school a couple weeks ago and got to go to their aircraft mechanic program and see their shop. And man, it's like a little kid. It's like being a little kid. And it's like aircraft engine, jet engine, so cool. Yeah, Pez, now like you broke my heart today, my friend. You broke my heart, but it'll be okay. We'll survive, and it'll be all good. Any TSI aftermarket timings you'd recommend? I would stick with OE on that one. And spit water all over. Sorry, guys, gross. I would stick with OE on that one, or I would buy it from FCP Euro, because they do the lifetime warranty. In fact, I have a timing kit around here somewhere. I have to dig up because CRP's been asking me about that. Have you had much experience with the aftermarket and industrial industry? So in aftermarket, I have a lot more experience now than I used to, which I guess is how life works. I think right now, specifically today and over the next 4 weeks, I don't know. Ian, keep posting that question, because I'm going to get to your Mark 5 question. I don't know, but like, let's pretend that the world wasn't losing its mind and going crazy, some justified, some not. I think the industrial industry, forklifts, semi-trucks, diesel, that kind of stuff, I think it's a great place. In fact, I was at that same tech college that I was at talking about the aircraft side. They were starting diesel students new out of school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Get this, $28 an hour. 2-8 starting. No experience. $28. Guys, I never made $28 an hour as a technician. $28 an hour. And it's a different world. The industrial side, you don't have a customer wishy-washy whether they fix the radio or the air conditioning. Like, the equipment has to work, right? The truck has to deliver the goods. The forklift has to be able to lift stuff up and down. I think it's a great industry to get in. All right, back to the GTI, the FSI question. I think it was a Mark 5. FSI, mods, maintenance, always maintenance first. I love lowering those cars, whether it's coilovers or whether it's shocks and springs, cool there. Intake, I like the intake on that one a lot, because you get rid of that stupid air box with the air filter built into it. I hate those things. Downpipe exhaust, which we did on the white car, that Rusto bucket, another good mod. And then there's a lot of VCDS or OBD11 tweaks you can do, a little different than this car, but you can do a lot of stuff with that. So start slow, make sure all your maintenance is done, timing belt, water pump, cooling fans are working fine, brakes are taken care of. What else? I don't know, what else? What else do you guys mod on Mark 5s? I mean, you can go little, or you can do like the dude that was here working yesterday, who has a big turbo, meth injection with nitrous, running like 9s or something crazy like that, which is, can you fire up the car? Which car? The garage is closed, man. What are you trying to suffocate me? It's crazy. I do need to take you guys on a quick ride in the Miata, though. At one point, I think I'll lose internet, and it'll be, yeah, I'm not going to start it because I got the garage shut. And it doesn't, like, the car doesn't sound great. It just sounds like a boring old car. It's a little better in race mode, but I don't have an exhaust on it or not. Miltech is supposed to be the premier exhaust. Yeah, $22 an hour as an apprentice. I started forever ago at 15, which was pretty good back then. I still think a lot of places are starting guys way too low. But, you know, that is what it is. Let's see, there was a Yes, I will be doing a stereo and subwoofer, I think, in the R32, in the blue car, very, very soon, in fact, because I really want CarPlay in that car. One of the other videos that can you talk about raising your suspension? So, Daniel, I haven't done a ton of research on that. I think a lot of people are doing Tiguan springs and a Tiguan suspension setup on their Mark V or Mark VI, which would bring it up pretty good because, like, Tiguan owners are putting GTI springs on their Tiguan and lowering their SUV and doing that kind of thing. So fun fact on car audio, that was actually the thing that got me into cars in the first place was car stereo stuff. So in fact, there used to be a school, it was like Mobile Electronic Certification or something, MECP, something, Mobile Electronic Certification Program probably, is probably what it was called. And I came very close to going to that when I was, I don't know, 18 or so, because that, I enjoyed that, and I thought that would be a really cool career. You know, looking back now, well, Lord knows what I'd be doing had I went that route. I think there's still a lot of potential in the car audio world. It's just different today than it was it was before. Should I stay OE on your 7.5 GTI? The comments disappear so fast. So I think for street driving and autocross, your stock brake setup is fine, especially if it's a performance pack. If you're going to change your brakes, I don't think brake lines make as big of a deal on a newer car as like they used to. Pads are the key. Finding a high performance pad. I've heard great things about EBC and garbage about EBC. I've got to the point where I basically don't trust what anybody says about any specific component, and I want to test it for myself. Here's a perfect example. On the R32, I have no idea what kind of brakes it had on it when I got it. I took that stuff off. I bought StopTech rotors and Hawk HPS pads. The reason I went with those is because it was so much more affordable than doing stock stuff, right? So I put those on. They were okay. They weren't great. They weren't terrible. They were fine, right? I never ran into a place where I thought I was outbraking the brakes, but you could tell like you were getting close. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's clean the rotors up because they were slotted rotors, and let's put some G-Lock pads on it because everybody says G-Lock pads are the best pads out there. And let me tell y'all, $150 per axle, and I got a discount. So you probably would have spent $400 on just pads, no hardware, nothing else, just pads, no sensors either, and this is their street level pad, and they were trash. They were trash. I overheated them in autocross, which is ridiculous. They faded so bad that I didn't think the car was going to stop on one of the last runs that I ran on them. So got home. They're in a box over there somewhere. So if anybody wants a set of G-Lock brake pads, let me know. I'll probably give them away. I wouldn't trust them, but... So I went back to straight OE, and they cost me a fortune. They were very expensive. I think the rotors were $200 a piece for the fronts and like $60 for the rear. The rears weren't that bad. But... and I'm very, very happy with it. Now, on a track, that may not be the case, but I was very happy with those pads. Stock. All right, I'm going to go back and answer some of these questions. What lift do you have? This is a Benpack mid-rise. It used to be pretty affordable. I think they've raised the price now to like $3,000 or something like that. I don't think this lift is worth $3,000. I think $2,000 is probably maybe $2,500. It's probably the max price point. I would really be in for that one. It's okay. I need to do a video on it for you guys. I kind of dilly-dallied around because I never completed the installation on it, like full on. Like a good example is that's not bolted down. Not a big deal, but I wanted to have it all nice and pretty before I did a video, but that never happened. So maybe I'll just do a bootleg video on it. Do you find any difference between AAS mechanics and reseal techs from Canada? You know, I don't hold a ton of value in those certifications. They are what they are, And I think it just comes more down to the technician, individual technician, working on the car, doing the work than anything. But I have such mixed feelings about so much in this next thing I'm going to say. There is something to be said about having a baseline level of certification required to work on a car. I like that. I don't really like that it's the government that does it, but Paul just posted a funny video, made me smile. Oh, stop talking about Wookiees, damn it. Sorry, Pez, I love you, but right. Appreciate that, Ian. No school is necessary, Jeremy. You just got to work extra hard. You got to work harder than everybody else if you don't have the credentials to back it up. E85 is reliable. E85s require a lot of love and attention. They can be very reliable. They can also be trash. It just depends on luck, a little bit of luck, and how it was made. Okay, I need to start a Discord and call it the Humble Mechanic Community. I can remember that. I'm just kidding. I'll forget that in 1 second. I'm going to try to remember that. I'm going to try. You guys are awesome. I love y'all. I hope y'all are doing okay. Like, I worry about so many people right now, and I worry about their mental state. I worry about their level of ability to like be in their house and not leave for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I worry about their financial state. If you guys are really struggling mentally, my email is always there. Shoot me an email. Happy to chat with you. Because like there's some whack stuff happening. There really, really is. And I just worry for a lot of people out there. That I mean, I work from home, so like I had a ton of things canceled. In fact, Pez just broke my heart and told me about Wookiees. But I was supposed to be traveling every weekend and most weekdays from mid-February to almost May. All of that stuff is now canceled. So like that's the disruption for me. Cost me some money too. It's not the end of the world. I'm here. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. So like that's the things that are really more important to me than anything. How can I email you? Darren, charles@humblemechanic.com is the way to email me. And just put question for Charles or something like that in the subject, because I use that to filter my email, because sometimes I go to spam, and you guys know how emails can be stupid sometimes. So like anyway, my life hasn't been super disrupted other than like distracting. But I worry for a lot of folks out there. And if you guys are struggling, like, just email me. My email is always there. If I read everyone, I try and respond to everyone I can. If you send me a block of text, though, that's like 87 paragraphs all together, I don't read that. Not to be a jerk or anything. How do you read something like that? But anyway, this is temporary. We are going to be fine. Hopefully you guys get some work done on your projects. Let's be honest, that's not going to happen. I was all like, yeah, I'm going to get so much done. And by Tuesday, I'm like, I'm not going to get anything done, are you? No, didn't. So that's why I'm out here today chatting with you guys. And I'm going to shoot that video on the R here in a little bit, drink some more water and whatnot, and hopefully get some of this pollen out of my sinuses, because I probably sound like death. Where can you get this hat? This is one of 3. If you guys are into this kind of stuff, maybe I would take like pre-orders or something like that, because these hats aren't cheap. They're probably, I don't know, $30 or something like that, and that would be with me not making any money, which I don't care about that side. If you guys dig these hats, I would definitely be obliged to try and make that happen for you. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Super pumped about your top secret project. You should be. Watch the video. I'll tell you, I'm going to give you guys that are watching this now, I guess and in the future, watch the video on the Miata. It's not out yet. The strut replacement on the Miata. And in about the first 5 seconds, you'll know what the next project car is. And like, if things keep getting weird, I'm just gonna bring it in and we'll just talk about it. I'm trying to wait till the new shop is done, because I think that'll be really a fun project, like for the first kickoff project of the new shop. But if you watch that video, you'll know what the car is, and then as far as what we're gonna do to it, Well, you'll just have to wait and see for that one because it is going to be fantastically fun. Fantastically fun. And something you guys have been asking for a little over 2 years. Mud flaps on the R. These are GTI mud flaps. They fit pretty well. Not perfect, but they fit pretty well. In fact, I hate mud flaps. I really do. These mud flaps, this car gets way dirty. And like, I'm thankful. This car's completely covered in Expel, and I'm going to be doing a video on that pretty soon too. It's super easy to clean. But like right now, look at how dirty that is. Right now, it is covered in pollen, as I am covered in pollen, and the world is covered in pollen, at least down here in the South, which is why I sound like I have something shoved up my nose. My face is what I was going to say. But anyway, keep an eye. I think that video will be out probably next week. It's a WD-40 partnership video, so I got to wait for them to approve the video, which should be no problem. It was a really, really fun video to make, and we will see if we can pull off what I'm trying to pull off on that next project, and then the project after that is probably going to be even more fun. And buckle up, stay sane, you guys. If you need anything, someone to chat with, whatever it is, you know how to get at me. I'm out. Faye, thanks for hanging. Bye, guys.